Alright. Alright. Hi. Sorry. Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite, or Might. I, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, and Montel Vertadius Porter here. And today on Dynamite, or Might, we are going to see Father Yule here today on Dynamite, or Might. Mike Lane says. You got that right, Tony Schiavone, says Mike Lane. We're going to be seeing Father Yule here today on Dynamite, or Might, since we're in the Yule time now. And that's when you'll see Father Yule, or Santa Claus, or Holy Fellow Nicholas, or whatever name you want to call him. I'll tell you one thing right now, Mike and Tony. I don't really know if it's ever a good time to see Father Yule or not. You know? But I don't know if anyone's going to be truly happy with him these days. For him knowing when children are awake, when they're asleep, and bad or good, breaking into houses, Montel Vertadius Porter says. He's always into things that some folks would scathe any other true man-like, woman-like being for. Would you stop that, Mike? Would you stop that, Mike Lane says. Knowing when the child is asleep or awake, knowing if it's bad or good, doesn't really make someone a sinner or an outlaw, And Mike Lane says, and tell me, Tony Schiavone said, how is he going to get the gifts in the house if he can't get in the house to put the gifts in the house? Montel Vertadius Porter says, tell me that, Tony Schiavone said. Ho, 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 and happy Yule. It's I, Santa Claus, also known as Father Yule, known as Holy Fellow Nicholas to others. Now, we all know that it's Yule time now. Well, it's not, it's the 12th month. Yule doesn't truly happen until the 25th for Western Christendom, and somewhere in the first month for Eastern Christendom. And we know that the gathering of lights is still going on, or it's about to come to an end. And right after Yule, the next holiday after Yule is also known as the gathering of followership. Now, I know a lot of folks out there, like to say all kinds of things. I mean, I have a list. Well, it's a book of life. Well, that's more God and Jesus having a book of life. Well, all I really know is if someone's been good or bad. All I know is they're up or they're asleep, and that's about it as far as what I know. What I do know is that over the years, I have brought the happiness and glee of Yule, Jesus' birthday, to everyone. And God so loved the world and so forgave the world for its sins and misdeeds that he gave us Jesus, the only son that God ever had. Well, I mean, God had many sons and children. We're all sons and daughters of God. But Jesus was the only Son of God that could free us from sin. And through God and through Jesus, we have our stead in heaven. We had our sins atoned for. We had our sins cleaned away. The handicap and weakening that was meant for all of us. Jesus took our stead for that. And God loved us so much, he was willing to put Jesus in that weakening. And Jesus loved us so much, he was willing to go through it. But you see, through all of that, we got our sins were taken on, the sins were atoned for, and we now have our stead in heaven through God and through Jesus. So that is the true meaning of Yule. Now, some folks out there are going to be a little upset with me and say, well, Santa, you make a big thing about Yule, but so the gathering of lights for the Jewish folk. Them onlooking a time in a war where they were in a worship house and they only had enough ooze to keep the candle light sticks going for eight nights. And for them, that is a wonder. And it is a wonderful holiday for the Jewish folk. And for the folks that do the followership, the gathering of followership, or the 8 oversights, or the 8 goals, that is a wonderful holy day for them. And hey, Santa Claus or Father Yule, I don't want to even hear you think that you know anything about anyone else's holy day, when we all know that the only holy day or holiday you ever had anything to do with in some small way was Yule. And the truth was, Yule was all about the birth of Jesus, Son of God, for those Christendom folk that believe that. And yes, some of us Jewish folk also believe it too. Some do, some don't. But you say that you have any understanding of the gathering of lights. Your understanding of the gathering of lights is, we on look a time in our life or in our yesteryear when we were in great war. When some folks were in a war and were in a worship house, and one looked at enough light, enough ooze to keep those candles going for 8 nights. And there's a lot, yes, gift giving is in the gathering of lights. There is gift giving, don't get me wrong, there's gift giving. Little small gifts here and there. And also, I'll tell you what right now. We don't really have anyone like you. Well, MJF, to all on look to you and your worship and your belief in your holy day, don't you have someone by the name of Gathering of Lights Harry, who's like me, but he tends to dress in blue. He has the Star of David on him. Oh yeah, you bring up the SML thing, and it caught on with some folks. So, no, I never saw Gathering of Lights Harry, and I never saw you. And you know what? I would get gifts on the Gathering of Lights. They never came from you. They came from my kin, my friends, whatever. Never came from you, though. So now, you know what I'm going to do with that Gathering of Lights tree? I believe the Christendom folk call it a Yule tree. Yeah, and we Jewish folk call it a Gathering of Lights tree. And let me tell you something. If you don't give me those gifts that I asked for in a Gathering of Lights, then that Yule tree, Gathering of Lights tree, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to hit you with it. And you are going to be sorry. Hold on here, Anna says. Don't mind me, holy fellow Nicholas or Father Yule. You know. So let me understand this right. You're angry. You're irked that Santa Claus or Father Yule or Holy Fellow Nicholas, whatever you want to call him, you know, hasn't been giving you 8 gifts on the night on the Gathering of Lights. Well, it would be kind of hard for Holy Fellow Nicholas, you know, or Santa Claus or Father Yule to come to your house 8 nights, 8 evenings, 8 nights, drop off a small gift, go back to his house, and then do it all over again. And this fat fuck over here does it in one evening and one night on Yule Eve going into Yule Day. He also does it again in the first month for the Eastern Christendom folk. So I don't want to hear how he can't do it 8 nights for the Gathering of Lights, which is coming to an end. So this tree, I'm going to hit you with it. You don't want to hit me with that Yule tree, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Hitting me at the Yule tree is shameful. It is also like if someone took your candle holders with all your 8 candles and also the lighting candle and and someone hits you with it. If you want someone to unlook your worship, your beliefs, and your holy days, then you have to have the same onlook for others' worship, others' beliefs, and others' holy days too. So hopefully God and Jesus' blessing on you, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, since you now have a stead in heaven through God and through Jesus, even if you choose to believe that or not, that is up to you. Shit. Well, Santa Claus or Father Yule is right about that, and now Anna's here. Let me tell you something else. Let me tell you something else, which is sad. Hold on, I gotta take a shit. Put it on still. Alright, we're back. So you think that you're going to shame someone by hitting Holy Fellow Nicholas with the Yule tree, or the Gathering of Lights tree as you like to call it? Well, guess what, Maxwell Jacob Friedman? I'm gonna fight you here today, and need be I'll teach you to have some onlook for Yule. If you want me to onlook the Gathering of Lights, then you're gonna have to onlook the Gathering of Yule. And beating up Father Yule or Santa Claus or Holy Fellow Nicholas because he couldn't get to your house 8 nights for the Gathering of Lights every year. You know, Anna says, and now I'm going to teach you a class of onlook. Something that you don't seem to have. Well, the fight lord, while Maxwell Jacob Friedman's taking off his, whatever you want to call that, Jewish scarf or whatever some Jewish folk wear around themselves, Mike Lane says, instead of some of them wearing the hats. Well, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, whoa, he just slammed Anna on the ground already. He's picked her up and body slammed her. Anna has that string, whatever, coming over the back of her neck that you could hang someone up with. And who's not going to say, Mike Lane said, that he just took the upside and worked that string that's coming out of the back of her head? Mike Lane says, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, or MJF, whatever you want to call him, he's been a heel the same way he's been both in MLW and ZZW and the NWA and also in AEW. He's still the AEW heavyweight fighter, and some folks say that he is hoping to surpass Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Ali Dragunov, and also to, also surpass whoever the TNAW heavyweight fighter is, or the NWA heavyweight fighter is, or the OVW heavyweight fighter is. He thinks that he's the greatest one out there. Tony Schiavone says. Well, we know Montel Latavius Porter said the only way that Maxwell Jacob Friedman has kept the AEW heavyweight winning since he won it around this time last year is by cheating, having folks help him. Oh! And Anna just took down Maxwell Jacob Friedman and knocked him out of the ring. But I tell you what, Montel Latavius Porter says, he has cheated and done everything unfairly to keep the AEW heavyweight winnings. And the only grounds to why I think that Shao Kahn and Anthony Kong went with him is because they didn't really have... Oh, didn't really trust anyone else to do it. And I think at the end of the day, he hasn't held the AEW heavyweight winnings as long as Roman Reigns has held the WWE heavyweight and world heavyweight winnings. Yeah, he may have held it longer than Seth Rollins and Ali Dragunov held their winnings. And right now, Anna is hoping to teach. And you know, Anna's a creep. She's a heel. You know, it's not right to beat someone up. It's not right to be wrestling or fighting someone over their worship or their beliefs. You know, and Maxwell Jacob Friedman almost got his head taken off by Anna of the Doom Tree. You know, and now Anna's coming up again from the top steeple. And I'll tell you what, Mercedes Porter says, Maxwell Jacob Friedman wants to believe that no one's onlooking his worship or his belief or his holy day, but he doesn't want to have any onlook for anyone else's worship or belief or holy days either. And he just knocked Anna down. Oh, this is not good, Mike Lane says. Yeah, we all know Tony Schiavone says this is how he always wins and how he's kept the AEW heavyweight winnings, Tony Schiavone said, by doing unfair things and cheating. Well, you know one thing, Mercedes Porter says, it's not cheating unless someone catches you or sees you doing it. 1, 2, and a kick out. You know? And you know, you gotta give a lot of onlook to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, because he is the only longest lording AEW heavyweight fighter in the 4 years that AEW's been around, Mercedes Porter says. Even though I don't watch any of the AEW Yield shows or Farseer shows, and never will, but I do got some onlook for them. And Anna right now, you know, has got Maxwell Jacob Friedman and takes him down. I can tell you one thing, Mercedes Porter says, it's going to take a lot to beat the AEW heavyweight fighter. You know. Anna's going to come down on him. She's going to give him Starship Ache. Starship Ache. Anna just missed with Starship Ache. Maxwell Jacob Friedman slammed her down, making fun of a Miz. Mike Lane says, 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner. Here is your winner, and here is your winner, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Maxwell Jacob Friedman has beat Anna here today on Dynamite or Might, and he's the one that has the right to fight Seth Rollins. You know, coming up at Christmas Chaos or Yule Madness, Mike Lane says, which is a takeoff from the OVW Yield show, or show the same name, that OVW's been doing since 2001 YL, when they did the first one. Now, I beat the Doom Tree outsider Anna, or Anna Granger, or whatever she wants to call herself. And now, Seth Rollins, I'm gonna call you out. I'm coming for you, Seth Rollins, and I will become a 3-time TWF heavyweight fighter, and I'll become a 3-time TWF heavyweight fighter and world heavyweight fighter. And there's nothing you can do about it. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, you need to keep my name out of your mouth. And I know how you think you're the world's greatest wrestler, the world's greatest fighter. Oh, look at me, I'm still the AEW heavyweight fighter. Well, let me tell you something. You may have held the AEW heavyweight winnings longer than I've held the WWE World Heavyweight winnings. Hell, Roman Reigns got you beat and me beat. Hell, he got the NWA, TNAW, MLW, OVW heavyweight fighter beat. But you know something? You are not going to become a three-time TWF heavyweight fighter and three-time world heavyweight fighter. Not on my watch. You don't have any on-look for anyone or anything. You want to hit Father Yule to Yule Tree? Well, let me tell you something. At Christmas Chaos or Yule Madness, you might think, oh, it's not a big deal for me. I already had a gathering of lights. Yeah, well, guess what? It's going to be fun because I'm going to be beating you up and making up for that. You know? So let me tell you something. You need to learn some on-look, buddy. You need to learn some on-look in some class now, friend. Because you're not beating me. Seth Rollins, you know that I will beat you. And then you will see I will be a three-time TWF heavyweight fighter and world heavyweight fighter. And yes, need be, I have beaten you and Ali Dragunov. Soon will catch up to Roman Reigns soon. And whoever the NWA, MLW, TNAW, OVW, XPW, GCW, ZCW heavyweight fighters are, or JCW, or AAA, or LU, NJPW, AJPW, PWN, BCW, and whoever else, I will be the TWF heavyweight fighter again. Nothing you can do about it. Well, alright. We're going to take it over now to Gorilla Monsoon. And he's going to talk with Seth Rollins. Alright. Alright, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with Seth Rollins here today on Dynamite or Might. Seth Rollins, you are the TWF heavyweight and world heavyweight fighter. And you're set to fight Maxwell Jacob Friedman at Christmas Chaos or Yule Madness. Yeah, well, you know what, Gorilla Monsoon? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to get him. You know, I'm going to teach Maxwell Jacob Friedman on-look in class, something that he has none of. This has nothing to do with him being Jewish and having a gathering of lights. It has nothing to do with anyone being Christendom and having Yule. It is about his mindset and his stand. You know, he came out, was threatening to hit Father Yule for Yule Tree. Then he went out and shamed Anna, too. I'm going to tell you something, Gorilla Monsoon. You know, I have known creeps like Maxwell Jacob Friedman my whole life. Roman Reigns is one of those folks, and I'll never be like him. So, and Maxwell Jacob Friedman likes to think that he is like, whoa, AEW's answer to Roman Reigns. Well, guess what? Both Roman Reigns and Maxwell Jacob Friedman are nothing more than bullies, heels, and creeps who have no on-look and no class. And he's not beating me. Even if he thinks that he's going to beat me. Sadly, all the gifts that he got for the Gathering of Lights, and that the TWF heavyweight and world heavyweight winnings, and being one of those gifts. Well, Seth Rollins, good luck to you in your match with Maxwell Jacob Friedman at Christmas Chaos or Yule Madness. Thank you, Gorilla Monsoon. Alright, that's my talk with Seth Rollins. Back to you, Mike Lane and Tony Schiavone. Thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Seth Rollins here today on Dynamite, or Might. I, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, Montel Vertadius Porter. We hope you like Dynamite, or Might, and we'll see you tomorrow for Impact on XSTV, or Smash and Inside FS.